So it is April 1st, or otherwise known as April Fool's Day. But I can tell you this, we're not fooling around. We are about to welcome a very, very special guest to tell me something good. The gentleman in the screen next to me is my son. I am super proud of him. He's got amazing good news today. And our commitment on this podcast is to only put good news back into the universe, back into the economy, back into the world, because Lord knows there's plenty of bad shit out there. So, Marc Nudelberg, tell me something good.
I think the best thing of all today is that it is official that I have become the president of On the Ball Ventures, and something that I think I've thought about my entire life and was a dream as a kid, which didn't seem like it was going to come to fruition, has come to fruition, and we are partnered together in business.
Which is, like you said, is absolutely bizarre. I mean, I had basically given up the thought of that. So my dream aligned with yours, but I thought it would never happen. I certainly was proud and still proud of the body of work you did in college football, the people you worked with, the relationships you developed, and thought that was the roadmap. Why don't you fill us in on a little bit more of your journey?
Yeah, so I think most people know probably by now, but for those that don't, I spent 10 years as a college football coach, working my way through the ranks, coached at places like Florida State, Florida, Cincinnati, Nevada, and Lafayette College. Spent my entire career on the special teams side of the ball, coaching both offense and defense as my secondary positions, but always as a special teams coordinator and a recruiting coordinator. So did that for 10 years. Decided, it was time to hop out. There were a lot of different things, a lot of adversity that changed the course of direction, and spent the last year at Good Karma Brands and ESPN West Palm, really honing my sales skills and being able to put into practice some things that my dad had been teaching for a long time, and saw a lot of opportunity, met a lot of incredible businesses, had some opportunities presented to me, and realized that my dream was to not only be an entrepreneur, but to partner with you and to kind of pick that dream back up from where I left it when I was 18. And here we are today.
So I think it's relevant to point out to people that this is not your average nepotism, like you just said, okay, I'm going to join the family business and I'm just going to occupy a spot. To the contrary, my career had basically taken off in a whole nother direction. I'm in a very, very great space in terms of my coaching and teaching and business development. You came to me with a roadmap that I think speaks to how successful you're going to be. So you might want to share some of your thinking there.
Yeah, so I think it comes from my coaching background and my sports background, just to be very candid, because in football, you have three phases. You have special teams, offense, and defense. And as a head coach, which it was my dream to be that initially, you have to understand how each one plays off of each other and how they affect each other throughout the game. Very similar to business, having the expertise from you and learning that side of the business and how to be successful in it and what's important there. And then working for, ESPN West Palm, selling advertising and learning about marketing plans and marketing portfolios and understanding that line of business, and then understanding the leadership side and the culture side of how to build a successful company and scale it. Having all of that knowledge thrown at me and seeing all the parallels to business, we made some connections and had some opportunities to partner with some unbelievable companies like Lamarck Media, One Huddle, to really help scale the training and development side of what you do or what we do now in Nudelberg. So I think the idea is to really help companies create championship behavior within their sales culture, right? Using modern tactics, and then help the companies continue to digitize every aspect of the customer journey, whether that be through digital marketing and all of the different tactics that go into that, or through onboarding and training and the ways you can help your employees and arm them. So here we are today.
Really cool. Yeah, I love the fact that the company will live on. The timing is so unique. in terms of what's going on around us. So we can't be blind to world events. What would you say, or how would you answer, like what's going on around you and how that's going to affect your business? How has it affected you, your mindset? I mean, I know football is filled with adversity and obstacles, and they call audibles all the time. It's a pretty big audible.
I think the great thing that sport teaches you, and something that I talk about or have talked about a lot, is there's 1,000 different ways to teach life through sport. So for me, one football season could be the lifespan of an entire business. So you have so many different obstacles that you come across. If you're sitting there at week 6 of the season and you're sitting there at 1-5, you can't just pack up the team and say, all right, guys, we'll get them next year. You got 6 more games to play. So adversity and circumstances and everything that's around you really should have no effect on what you do on a daily basis to try to be successful. So is the timing of the economy poor? Sure. What does that mean? Do we have to scale back? Do I have to make sure that everything I do in spending or everything that we do as a company makes sense economically so that we can make sure we're as tight as we can to continue to move forward? But at the end of the day, if you're a business or if you're a business development person, whatever you're doing, as long as you believe that you're adding value to the people around you, business isn't going to stop getting done. So to me, it's just about continuing to find ways to add value to all the people that we work with and continue to move forward.
I love that that's where your focus is, because certainly we talk about it in the daily huddle every day now. We talk about all of the companies that either became or innovated during recessions and depressions and world catastrophes. I can remember back in 2008, my big concern was, how am I gonna put food on the table, which a lot of people are faced with that now. And so that type of adversity, Sam Couchy, the CEO of One Huddle, talked about in this format. You can either lean into it or lean out, and I think there's never been a better time to just be proactive in terms of cultivation, innovation, all those kind of things. So I love that you joined the company and you're not jumping into that's great right off the bat. Hey, you got something to deal with, because that's how you really that muscle memory of what it's going to take to get through this is going to last the rest of your career.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think, we talked about it this morning in the huddle and you've shared it with a few people, but the video that Simon Sinek put out of him addressing his team and his company, I think people that are, there's 2 different mindsets. There's the infinite mindset and the finite mindset. The infinite mindset says, okay, this is adversity. How do I embrace it? How do I think critically about it and find opportunity in it? Because change is coming, whether I like it or not. So if I'm able to evolve with it, then we'll be successful on the other side. If I'm leaning out of it, as Sam said, and I'm hoping that things are going to go back to the way they are, I can guarantee you that there's going to be no success found in that. I think whether it's in business or in sport, you see it across all verticals that evolution happens, and the people that evolve with it either become more successful or stay successful, and the ones that don't and hope that it's going to go back eventually fade out. So, it's hard to say change or die, but essentially it's what it is.
Well, actually, it's interesting because I posted something recently from rewatching the movie Moneyball and looking at how that mentality was poo-pooed. Hey, this is not the way we've done it, which is one of the things in a business environment that's the number one killer anyway. Oh, that's just not the way we do it. Well, innovation comes, technology is here. When they talk about it in the movie about him trying to, manage the recruiting process with technology, it worked. I mean, there's data doesn't lie. You bring that from you had to embrace technology at the sporting level that I was even awed by the tools that you guys were using to manage data and create probabilities. How does that affect what you do in business?
I think it brings the process side of things. I think you and I have had great dialogue already about, look, it's been my job everywhere I've been to, number one, change culture, right? So like when you come into a new job, you have players that coach for somebody else. You have to get them to buy into what you're doing. And we use the term in a lot of places that I was, and it was, you either can't or you won't. Either way, you get replaced. I think the world tells you that as it evolves, right? It's going to tell you either you can't or you won't, and you will be replaced. So I think bringing that mindset, but then having a quantitative process of, we're able to show you exactly how you should be doing things and when you should be doing them in real time to build a pipeline and feed prospects into a funnel that will eventually come out as the scorecard. So to transition that from football to business, we always told people, don't look at the scoreboard. You look at the scoreboard, you're going to get beat. You worry about what you're executing in the play. That's how we beat people. So talking to businesses and sales teams and digital marketing teams and everybody that's involved of, look, if you're looking at the revenue streams and you're looking at the money that's coming in, you've already lost. Because that money is going away tomorrow, I guarantee you. But if you're looking at the field of play and finding new opportunities and innovating ways to create new opportunities, bang, now you've got a successful recipe.
The parallels are amazing. It reminds me of the times that we would talk, you as a coach, me as a business leader, and we knew the parallels then, but I never could dream that you would take all that. And so I ask you a couple of final questions. One is, are you happy? I mean, I think one of the things that I've taught people my whole career is, if you do what you love, the money will follow. And so speak to that.
I'm unbelievably happy. I'm unbelievably grateful. I mean, I hope that everybody who's come in my past knows that I wouldn't be here today at this opportunity without them. All of the coaches that I've worked for, all of the people that hired and fired me, and everybody up until this point, it uniquely prepared me to be sitting here at this opportunity with you. And I could look at it as like, oh man, I decided to make this decision, and wow, the economy takes a dump, and oh, this is going to be way harder than I thought it was going to be. But my mind doesn't allow me to operate that way. All I know is that you have done an incredible thing. You've delivered extreme value to every organization that you've worked with. Now I get to take that, champion that, and help you take that to another level and really scale it. And that is, what else could I possibly ask for in my life? To work with my ultimate mentor and to be able to help him.
It is really an incredible story, and I know it's going to go great places. For me, just the perspective is, when you got hired and you said, and this is what I think, the message to sales leaders, salespeople, sales professionals, when you said to me, okay, Dad, I sort of know what I'm selling, but I don't know how to sell it. I don't know who to sell it to. I think that's the part where we really came together, where you said, show me. And, when I wrote the process specifically for you, and I really want to touch on this in our final point, is that it is always about process. It's always about discipline and consistency and doing the reps. When I wrote the plan for you, you didn't question one part of the plan. Your coach's mindset is, this is the playbook and I'm going to do it. And so in our final thoughts, that's something good. Talk to me about how that you developed the mindset to just do it and have faith. And because a lot of other people say, well, I'm not really comfortable doing that. It's not really what I want to do. And, I've done it this way before.
So there's a couple different things that go into that. I think there's layers to it. I think, number one, I was raised that way. Like, just do what you're told, like do what you're told and it'll work out. I promise you. So
you're damn straight.
But I come from a different era. So like, now people need to understand the why they do things. I think it made sense to me. Obviously, I understood it. I knew that you had been doing it and having success with it. So I trusted that. And that's how it made sense to me, because I did that everywhere that I walked into. The special teams kids didn't know me. The kids that I was going to ask to play special teams for me didn't know me, but I would show them that I had had success with what I was teaching. And if I show you that I have success with what I'm teaching and you still choose to spit in my face, then shame on you, not me. So I think where you and I can really help each other is to understand that, look, there's a lot of people that will teach that won't adopt it, and shame on them. You know, they're not willing to change, because if you don't change, you either can't or you won't, and you will be replaced at some point. So I think if you help people understand that, and you're showing them success with it, and they can't understand that, you know, can't help everybody.
Incredibly well said. Obviously, lots more to come from you and me. In your final thoughts, if you wanted to leave the audience with something good or something better than what you've already said, one sentence, one final thought, what would it be?
This is the ultimate time for opportunity. You've been given found time. Figure out what to do with that found time to chase what's in your heart, to chase what you're passionate about. Figure out a way to make a business, because guess what? Everybody's hurting in the economy. So everybody's scaling down now anyways. So start it small and grow it now, and take your chance at opportunity.
Really well said. Could not be a better April Fool's Day to me. There are no fools in this conversation, only sage advice coming. Look for great things from this human being. Could not be a prouder dad. Good stuff ahead. Each day we're going to be bringing you good stuff from good people. So stay tuned and stay on the ball.